Hey there, this is One Boom, and summer is almost here, and a lot of you might be wondering what games to spend all your free time on. And Black Ops 6 might be on your maybe list, so let's talk about it. But before we get into Black Ops 6, I need to talk to you guys about your wardrobe and how it's sort of failing you. I know, people talk behind your back, I listen, I hear, but I provide solutions, and the solution I have today is a discount code for intotheam.com. They're currently having a Memorial Day sale that kind of blows their other sales out of the water. This is the time to go get some new shirts that are eye-catching conversation starters that are also comfortable and breathable that I've been wearing for years. Although I haven't done an ad for Into the AM in a while, they reached out to me and they're like, hey, you like our stuff, right? And I'm like, I still wear your stuff every day. And they're like, hey, we're doing a Memorial Day sale. And now I'm interrupting your video with it, so as you can tell, I give a shit. I'm now a night manager at Walmart, meaning I have people under me, and when I come into work wearing an Into the AM t-shirt, they say stuff like, where'd you get that shirt, and please don't fire me. And it's like, well, I could help you with one of those. One of them. And obviously by looking at me, I'm going to the gym again, and I wear these shirts there all the time. They're flexible, they're breathable, and they're conversation starters. I had, in the gym, a girl walk up to me and be like, I'm not kidding, this is exactly what she said. Can I use the elliptical after you? Code 1boom10 to get a discount on these shirts. I don't think I have to say anything else. People are in fear of their jobs, and they ask me to use the elliptical at the gym, and I think I have to owe both of those things to Into the AM. And you know, also, that shirt you're wearing, it's not doing you any favors. Let's just call a spade here. Anyway, thank you guys, and now roll the video you actually clicked on. Now, this video is going to focus on the multiplayer aspect of the game, as I don't really play zombies, so I don't feel comfortable talking about it. It just doesn't have the, esoteric horror vibes anymore, so it doesn't feel like worth hopping on as like a different tertiary experience. So I'm not enticed to play it like I did in the old days. Now, when it comes to campaign, I feel like you'll only care if you've been following the current Black Ops storyline, and when it comes to campaigns and storytelling, I think the best thing to do with any linear story game is just to experience it without any spoilers or preconceived notions. So if you're interested in zombies, watch a zombies YouTuber. If you're interested in the campaign, then just get the game on sale or on Game Pass or something and go ahead and play through the campaign without any spoilers or preconceived notions. You know, watching a review on a linear story feels like a dumb thing to do. If you care about the Black Ops story, you're not going to be starting with Black Ops 6. Now, multiplayer is something I feel like I can speak on, since I have played it forever, and it just makes more sense to be objective about it. The state of the meta, the tone of the game, the player base, the matchmaking, bugs, content, replayability, etc. So in this video, we're going to look at all of those categories. Now, first things first is the meta, and I am not talking strictly about like what gun is overpowered or what perk setup to use. I am talking about what does it mean to be good at this game, and the meta is very heavily movement oriented. I feel like if you are interested in playing the game, knowing what weapons or perk setups are best is secondary to the first initial thing you need to know, and that is that this is a movement game. If you do not want a movement game, this is not going to be for you, but of course, there's nuance to this. It's Call of Duty. If you want to camp with an LMG and a Claymore behind you, you can absolutely do that. While a lot of the maps are like fast-paced and kind of small, there are still places to snipe and set up choke points and stuff, so it is not something where you have to be as fast as possible. It's just that is the general meta and the sort of gameplay feel they were going for. Again, the maps are more simplistic, the maps are a little bit smaller, and the movement is very, very fast. And of course, omni movement is the big gimmick in this game, where you can sprint in every direction, slide in every direction, you can dive to prone, you can dive onto your back. I feel like if you're a lower level player and you just have always been sort of a lower level or like below average player, I don't think you're going to have too much trouble playing at whatever speed you want. But if you're somebody who has been into COD, you like COD, or you like competitive shooters, you like getting good at competitive shooters, I feel like you need to know that you're not getting into a grounded, slow experience once you get to the higher levels of play, and we'll talk more about that when we get into the matchmaking part of the discussion. But you need to know that it is a movement shooter in a lot of ways. In order to be good, in order to be at the top, you're going to need to be somebody that can move around. Obviously, there is nuance to this, but you have to know going into this that that is sort of expected, that you're going to be okay with people sliding around corners, jumping, diving, moving quickly. If you just absolutely hated anybody's slide canceling in previous COD games or any of the advanced movement games, you might have problems with that. Moving on to the next thing, this ties directly to it, is player base. What is the player base like in Black Ops 6? And again, this is something I have to talk about in the matchmaking section, because the player base really does just depend on what your level of skill is. But if I could talk about it without bringing up matchmaking, I would say the player base is generally on the sweatier side. This game is not so much about theory crafting and customization as it is about movement tech and optimization. So it did bring in a lot more of the sweatier tryhard types, and I've experienced that pretty consistently since the beta of this game, compared to like last year's COD, Modern Warfare 3, which seemed to bring in people that are a little bit more creative and play in more varieties of ways. Black Ops 6 sort of forces you into more rapid engagements and, again, movement-heavy combat, so the people that are sticking with it are the people that are really into optimizing that meta. You don't really have a lot of goofy theory crafting in this game, both because of the perk system, the wildcard system, the attachment system, and that brings me into our next topic here, and that is replayability. Replayability is lacking in this game compared to the last two Call of Duties. I'd say the last several Call of Duty games, actually. Most of the attachments on most of the guns are just the same copy and paste attachment. For instance, every assault rifle has the, foregrip that helps with recoil control, and then you have the idle sway foregrip, then you have the foregrip that does recoil control and idle sway, then you have the sprinting foregrip that also helps with a little bit of recoil. See what I'm saying? And these are just like copy and pasted on each gun. So essentially, there is a template attachment that's on every gun, and very few guns have unique attachments. So a lot of your guns will just have like extended mag 1, vertical foregrip, recoil springs, and a red dot sight. And like that's, you don't get a lot of unique and interesting attachments, and most of the attachments don't have downsides. So even when you use the wild card that gives you 8 attachments on your gun, you're not really theory crafting and building a new weapon or crafting a feel. You're sort of just upgrading the base weapon, because most of the attachments just have pros, very few cons. And when it comes to perk customization, you are down to 3 perks, and if you don't select the 3 perks of the same color, you don't get what is called a specialty bonus. And that specialty bonus is essentially like an extra perk or set of perks that establish your playstyle as like stealthy or aggressive or whatever. And so basically, if you're not running 3 of the same color perk and getting that specialty bonus, you're sort of hurting yourself a little bit. And then like 99% of the attachments are template attachments, meaning again, not a lot of unique customization there, meaning class creation and theory crafting doesn't leave a lot to play with. Now when it comes to replayability, we also have to talk about map design, and the maps in this game are fairly simple and symmetrical. Not all of them, but a lot of them are simple, symmetrical, and don't provide a ton of variety. You are not getting the variety you got in the previous Call of Duty games that came out before this one. I would say Vanguard, MW2, and MW3 all have more interesting maps with larger areas and more fun stuff to do on those maps. Modern Warfare 3 more than Modern Warfare 2, especially with its DLC maps, but either way, there's a lot more variety to be had in the previous COD games. This game is a bit more simple, so you're not going to get, again, a crazy variety of experiences in terms of your customization or your maps. But when it comes to progression, Classic Prestige is back. So if you guys know what that is, you get to a max level, reset it down to 0, gain a level of prestige. And you do that, like basically you go up to like level 55, reset, 55 again, reset up until prestige 10, and each prestige has its own, rewards and cosmetics and things you unlock. And that is a lot of fun. Of course, you have mastery camos like any Call of Duty multiplayer. You complete challenges to unlock a camo on a gun. Complete all of the guns in that category, you unlock a mastery camo. Complete all of the categories of weapons and all of their camo challenges, you get a mastery camo, which looks really cool and is a nice bragging right. So if you want to grind weapon challenges and levels, this is the game to do that. And after you're done with 10th prestige, you do have 1,000 levels of grinding to do, just to show how much of a dedicated Black Ops 6 fan you are. And if that doesn't interest you, I totally get it. It is worth noting that there is cross progression with Warzone and Zombies. So it is your sort of overall this era of COD rank, not just Black Ops 6 multiplayer. Take that as you will. When it comes to replayability, I honestly feel like this is one of the most lacking aspects of the game, because while progression is fun, most of the stuff you unlock is sort of meaningless cosmetics. You don't get like really cool, like unique anythings. Like, we haven't had Classic Prestige in forever, and it's so upsetting to me that the last time Call of Duty really had awesome Classic Prestige rewards was all the way back in 2016 with like Infinite Warfare. So honestly, bit disappointing there. As well as if you love crafting weapons with Gunsmith and making weird attachments work and having like crazy experiences on a large variety of maps with a large variety of situations, that is not really going to be the case as much in this game. It is a bit more straightforward, it is a little bit simplified. It's a lot of bit simplified. Now, bugs are the next topic. I have ran into a lot of bugs with Black Ops 6, primarily with stuff like selecting a loadout or customizing a weapon. I'll throw a suppressor on my assault rifle in the middle of a match, and it just won't add on to my assault rifle. I can't swap my class. Sometimes opening the create class menu would just sort of freeze and then not actually open up. That's the most amount of bugs I've had. I can't think of anything else in my playtime with this game that was really detrimental. I have not seen a ton of game-breaking bugs, just frustrating ones. I will say, in terms of bugs, like, let's not just talk about like glitches, talk about general performance. I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, and there has been a handful of disappointing like performance issues, loading times and stuff. Sometimes the game doesn't really feel like it was made for the current generation. Sometimes it feels like this game was crafted for like the PS5 Pro, just something slightly more beefy than a normal PS5 or Series X than it is for the Series X. And that's always going to rub me a little bit wrong because I feel like they should know this hardware by now, but it is not as well optimized as I would like it to be. Now, when it comes to content, they've done okay. If you played last year's COD, it's nothing in comparison to that. Black Ops 6 has nothing on Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 was giving us aftermarket parts and weekly challenges that were fun to complete. Modern Warfare 3 felt like a live service COD game, and we had multiple seasons of content in Modern Warfare 3 that just gave us so much stuff, like so many weapons and maps and timed events during it. I honestly feel like the content in Black Ops 6 in terms of like events and seasonal stuff is lacking in comparison. It's like, here's 2 multiplayer maps, and then here's an event that's like kill people and pick up their skulls, and you get enough skulls you can use it to like buy a calling card, and it's not something worth really getting excited about. They do fun limited time modes, like they did a Ninja Turtles power-up mode. That was fun for a bit, but then after a while those game modes disappear, and then they're like, I don't really care. I can't really count content that isn't in the game anymore. So in terms of like how they're keeping up with content and like seasonal things, I feel like this game is lacking compared to last year, but it's not a barren wasteland. It's not a dead feeling game. It's just a game that definitely feels like it should be getting like an extra map per season, maybe an extra gimmicky thing per event. It's a lot of very boring, just kill the bad guys to complete the event kind of things. And so content-wise, I really can't give this game a ton of praise, but it is not a wasteland. They do update it, they do add maps and weapons, and if you're buying the game for this summer, you haven't bought the game yet, you are going to have way more content than people did back in October when the game came out. So, something to consider. Now, the next thing is for seasoned Call of Duty players that have a burning question: what is the matchmaking like? And I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, it's not good. The matchmaking in this game has been so oppressive, it has kept me from wanting to play. Because one of the things that started to motivate me into playing more was the idea that I could play with my girlfriend, who is not bad at video games by any means. She's pretty fucking great. But even if you're good at video games, you understand them, you grasp them quickly, you're good at aiming and shooting, being thrown into a high-level Call of Duty lobby when you're just trying to learn the game and like maps and spawns and rotations and stuff, and you've never really played Call of Duty before, no, fuck that, doesn't fucking work. And I'm sorry, it is bizarre that with a competitive shooter like this, being good means that you can't go up to your coworker and be like, oh bro, you gotta buy the new Call of Duty so we can play together. I can't do that. I would love to just play some TDM with my coworkers, but in my lobbies, people play TDM like it's a fucking esport. I love to just chill out and play some like domination matches with some friends I go to work and they're like, hey, you're a YouTuber, what do you play? Call of Duty? That's awesome, you must really love Call of Duty. I want to play Call of Duty with you. And I'm like, you won't survive. You won't last, you won't want to. I have subscribers that choose to play with me to just to help me balance out the matchmaking in the game. And they're better than I am, and they will sometimes get sweated out of my lobbies and be like, boom, I can't do this today. And they leave. It is ridiculous out here. It is insane. I have not played Black Ops 6 in so long. I want to play Black Ops 6, right? I want to go sit down and play it and not take huge pauses in between. But I know that after my first match, maybe 2 matches, if I start doing well, I'm going to go straight into hell. And if you don't have a full squad of pub stompers carrying you and helping you, it doesn't work. I have a childhood buddy that has played every Call of Duty with me for years. I can't ask him to buy Black Ops 6 and play it with me. He's casual. He smokes weed and plays video games after work. He'll just be upset. He'll just be annoyed. Call of Duty is sort of a binary game. You're either succeeding or you're not. And so if you're just in a match dying over and over, and you can't capture an objective and you can't move forward, like, it's rough. I had some success playing like hardcore TDM with my girlfriend because the people there are generally lower skill and they're sort of slow and they kind of just camp, but that's not incredibly fun. And I don't want to play that all the time just to like get slightly easier lobbies. And even those lobbies get really sweaty sometimes. And I'm not trying to say that like, oh, the competitive game should toss me a win, but it's not like it's pairing me with people of just my own skill level. What skill-based matchmaking does, which is actually engagement optimized matchmaking, it gives you worse teammates to balance out the experience for the other team. So it goes, hey, you're doing really well, you can carry this team, right? And countless times I've cut my stream short because I'll start playing the game, I'll get a map, and I'll be like, all right, I'll play Nuketown. I go off, I get like 60 kills, 10 deaths, super sweaty match, I do really well, and everyone's like, wow, boom, you're back, you've got this. And then it'll immediately wipe that lobby. It will not put me back with them again, even if I only have 1 game mode selected. It will not put me back with them again, and it'll put me into a different match on Nuketown that's like partway through, where my team is getting just mowed into their spawn by a chopper gunner, because the game goes, oh, you did well? Cool, go carry. The game just does that. Oh, you did well, go carry. Every fucking time. Oh, you're trying to play with your coworkers or your girlfriend? You're trying to teach somebody the game? Sorry, you need to go carry. You need to put on your sweatiest loadout and be at the top of your game, both mentally and physically, and you need to play like you're on a fucking main stage. And now I like doing that. Not all the time, not with every one of my friends. So like, literally my Black Ops 6 experience with my girlfriend has been 1v1ing her and like using weird weapons and goofing around, because that's fun. I cannot go hop into team deathmatch with a coworker. Call of Duty used to be a community game, it is not anymore, and it's the biggest crux of this review. It is not a community game anymore. Lobbies only even stick together if you have like 1 game mode selected and the matchmaking system doesn't decide that you're doing too well. Then they might stick you with the same people more than once. Ooh, big deal. It is not a game that you bring your coworkers in on. It is not a game that you and your girlfriend sit down and play in the evening for fun. It is a shit show. Like, I had a coworker, true story. Coworker, he's like, yeah, I play Call of Duty with my girlfriend. He's like, but online is ridiculous for both of us, so I just put us against like regular bots and we take a shot every time we die. And I'm like, people, the average person should not be going into private matches to play against bots in order to have a decent time. On top of that, matchmaking is not subtle either. Like, you can see how aggressive it is. You can see, like, you're in the fully populated, current COD game, right? A new season just dropped, so like tons of people are online, and you'll just sit there. It'll be like searching for a match, under 20 ping, under 40 ping, under 100 ping, under 120 ping, and it can't find a game. It takes forever to find a game, and the longer you play in that play session, the longer it takes, because it's trying to, do all the checks and balances. Oh, how good are you? Are you going to be able to, carry this team? Or are you going to be too good in this lobby? And it's thinking way too hard. The next thing that bothers the hell out of me is the tone of the game. Matchmaking aside, which I can't put it aside, it's one of the main reasons I'm not playing the game as much anymore. The tone of the game is in shambles. If you were like a fan of Black Ops 1 or 2, or even Black Ops 3, you even liked Cold War, you are in for a rude awakening of Squid Game and Ninja Turtles and a bunch of Terminators and shit running around. This is a crossover game with so many goofy cosmetics. Not even just like crossover cosmetics, like goofy AI-generated looking like anthropomorphic sharks and monkeys and lizards. It's stupid. This game aesthetically is inconsistent and weird. They did not go with 90s cool like Desert Storm, Black Ops kind of stuff. No, they literally ditched that entirely, and it's just Call of Duty, and it's sort of themeless in most of its presentation. If you're looking for a gritty, gory Treyarch game like a World at War or Black Ops 1, you're not getting that. If you're even looking for something as grounded as Cold War was, you're not getting that either. It is basically the biggest shark jump I think we've ever seen in Call of Duty, unfortunately. And it did it immediately. So it has been months of it just sort of getting worse. They have added some milsim skins and some actual like military toned things, but it is too little too late. The game is ridiculous. There are unicorn finishers in this. I'm not even kidding. So if you look at the Black Ops 6 cover art, you watch the trailers, just know they're lying to you. The marketing's lying to you. You're not getting into a game that has that tone or vibe. You're not even getting into a game that has like just like a fantasy 90s combat vibe. You are getting into something that has just sort of zero integrity. And I hate to say that because I make videos on this series. I've been making Call of Duty videos since like 2014. And so it feels really gross to sit here and go, yeah, they shit the bed, but that's what they did. So yeah, that's the end of this. The meta, the player base, the replayability, the bugs, the content, the matchmaking, the tone. My overall opinion is that if you really, really, really want to play COD multiplayer this year, and you haven't played Black Ops 6 yet, I recommend giving it a try this summer if you have a group of friends that are like-minded and want to play it with you for the same reasons. Whether that's all hopping on zombies, private matching each other, playing ranked play, or grinding for max prestige together. If you made it to this point in the video, just know that the game is good in some ways. Aiming and shooting feels good. The time to kill feels good. It's a smooth and intuitive Twitch shooter, and it's a lot of fun. My genuine opinion of the game is that it's a lot of fun in spite of all the shit I just ranted about. But if you don't go into it knowing the things I just ranted about, I feel like you're gonna have a worse time if you're expecting something else, and that's the point of this video, so that you don't buy the game or download the game expecting something else. I recommend if you have a group of friends that all want to play it with you, or you're willing to go make friends to play it with, you'll have a good time in the multiplayer. But if you are just gonna hop on it alone, I feel like eventually it will drive you crazy. But who knows, maybe you're just craving Call of Duty and you don't care about any of this. You're gonna hop in, not care about any of that shit, do your best, have a good time, and then go have sex with your hot wife and or husband and or non-binary partner. And you know what? Good for you. Good for you. But if you're gonna do that, why did you watch like 25 minutes of me ranting? You sat through a t-shirt commercial. By the way, link in the description. Into the AM makes awesome sexy t-shirts, conversation starters if I've ever seen them. I swear to God, if you do not like the t-shirt, I will personally pay you for the t-shirt you didn't like. If you buy a t-shirt and you didn't like it, I will PayPal you the money you spent on that t-shirt. Link is in the description. Don't forget to use my promo code. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.